Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
Yes, we are.
Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Naomi.
Good morning.
Good night, John. Good night, Pa. Good night, Gramps.
Wrong episode, Pete.
Oh.
He's getting confused.
I'm not confused at all. I'm just waiting.
No,
for you guys.
he's...
Oh, Peter's been confused. He's had me confused all morning. We have to fix that.
We left it in the middle.
So, what's the
It's a
agenda
new
today,
year.
Bill?
No. I stopped my intro.
Yes,
It's a
I
new
noticed.
year.
I noticed you
There's
retired
no
last
names.
week.
There's no names.
There's
Are
no
you
names.
ready?
We're nameless.
Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. All right, welcome to another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies, episode 77. I'm $100 Bill.
And I'm Pete the Rookie, Class 3.
And I'm Naomi, the deal maker.
Uh-oh, we have shifted the sun and the moon. All right, the name of today's show is...
Wait a minute. Go back to your name?
No,
$100 bill.
we're going to come to it.
He's got something planned. Let him go.
Oh, boy.
I have nothing planned, but I do have an agenda.
Bill,
I'm
you wake
shocked.
up. Bill, you go to sleep with an agenda.
Agenda.
You dream about the agenda, and you wake up with the agenda with some
That's
solutions.
the key, Pete. That's what this whole episode is about.
Agenda Bill. All right, episode number 77. We're going to call this... It doesn't actually have a name, Pete. It's a kind of nameless thing. It's actually a question that I want to ask our listeners.
All right.
It's actually a question.
What's your agenda?
Do you actually believe you can flip a house?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that's deep.
yeah.
That runs real deep.
You're starting at the beginning, before the beginning, before the beginning.
Nope. Last episode, if you listen to episode 76, it was pretty dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
But
I got feedback.
You did? Oh, tell me. Oh, please do tell.
Was it like someone like, what are you doing with those crazy people?
Did the word insane asylum come in any time in the conversation? White jackets or anything like that?
No white jackets. Just what exactly is the point of that? Which, if they're asking that question, then maybe they are. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Let's not
Do that on the radio?
Yeah, that's a private mastermind
Okay, good.
question.
The point was he wanted to have one show they can talk about whatever he wanted to. It was his turn. No matter what it was, leave him alone.
That's right.
He's entitled to one every year.
That's right.
So that is all true, except I drew a line in the dirt, and I felt like show 76 was that. So if you're listening to this show and haven't listened to it, and you have very thick skin,
Very
and
thick.
you want to get raw Bill, then you can listen to show 76. But I have consciously and clearly, after that show, totally, absolutely made up my mind on where we are going in 2018. And I am going to actually stop teaching how to do my 7 strategies. And that's what I've decided. And that's what that whole show is about. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to stop. I shouldn't say I'm going to stop teaching it. I'm going to stop trying to teach it to everybody all at once.
Mm.
So I know Peter and I, well, both of us, and I've spoken to you, Naomi, and
Yeah.
we've talked about this, which we normally don't talk about the radio show, or I call it the radio show, the podcast. I mean, how often do we talk about it? I mean, like hardly ever.
Right.
Because we just get on here, it's total improv, right? Which is what I want.
Yeah.
But I know that I have decided. Actually, I have about a half a book, and I'm expecting that by the end of January. God bless you, Emma. By the end of January, and this is one stiff target for me. One stiff target. I expect to have a new book out, and the name of the book is going to be called. Emma says it's a long title, but when you see it on the book cover, it won't be. So at the top of the book, it's going to be called "The Great American Heist." How we're stealing people from the rat race.
That's a great title.
And then below that, it's going to be how to buy a house for $100 deposit with bad credit, no risk, experience optional.
But do people really believe?
Right. So
they can do it.
by the time I get to the end of the month, I will have a book written on how to do it. And by the time I get to the end of the month, I'm hoping to have an actual course, an online course, and a course that we can ship to you on a CD and in a box. And that is all I'm going to talk about for a very long time.
That is really powerful. Because if people don't believe that they can do it, by the
Right.
time they get done with the course, it's going to expound to
I'm
her.
going to make it so simple that at the Christmas party, I actually gave away for free, right? One of the prizes I gave away was you have unlimited time with me, which is very hard. I mean, I shouldn't say unlimited. You have enough time with me and have anything that I own, whether it's courses, books, whatever, to do a deal. I will make sure that you do a deal. Now, my oldest daughter's pregnant, and she is due the end of March.
Mm-hmm.
And when my grandson, because I know it's a grandson, when my grandson comes out to shoot, he's done.
Yeah.
I know Naomi just cringes at that when he comes out to shoot. Any woman probably would, right?
Yeah, you're assuming, Bill. I didn't.
It's so
I
poetic.
just don't even think about it. It's like goes right over my head.
Okay.
I just don't even think about
What
it.
you do is when you hear something like that, just don't make pictures of it. Just let the words go by. Don't start thinking about it. And you start seeing things. That's the secret.
Here you
to
are.
not
You're like
you know-
doing all the visuals.
Yeah, don't do that.
If you,
I'm showing you what not to do.
If you weren't doing it, you just did it now, right?
Yeah.
And Peter
No,
helped
I
you.
went like this. Peter was doing a little more specific.
Yeah, just don't make of anything. People say something, don't think about it because it'll crack you up.
Okay, so let me be politically correct. When my grandson breathes his first breath of air on planet Earth, this guy's done. So that means
The person who won the
Yep.
access to it.
at that point, if he wants to continue to work with me, he'll have to pay me.
And I think that person is taking advantage of his time with you. No?
I spent an hour with him last night at Chili's, which I never ever do with my clients. I met him, physically met him, which
Right.
I do with clients, but I don't just meet them to just tell them what to do. I do that on
Right.
the phone or usually when I'm driving or on email. I don't
Right.
go meet them to tell them what to do.
But he
So
wanted to meet you in person.
Yeah, and I want to delay the law. Like, this is what's going to happen, dude. So, like, I mean, I want you to understand how many people ask me to do this for them.
Right.
And I've never, ever done it. And I'm not
Right.
even somebody special like it, but I've never, ever done it.
Right.
I've done it for Pete. That's it.
Wow. Pete.
Even Jessie, I was doing it for Jessie, and then she kind of pulled back a little bit, and I stopped doing it for her. Jessie's the one having
Yeah.
the baby, right?
Yeah, I figured that out.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, just in case some listeners don't know.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm going to do that, and I told him last night that I have decided that I personally, my personal goal is in 2018 is to get as many people out of the trap as I can. Now, I don't know what that number is. I think it's sometimes it's 24, sometimes it's 36, sometimes it's 48. And it keeps floating around in my head because other than I'm willing to put a lot of energy and a lot of money, not a lot of money, but I mean a sufficient amount of money.
Energy is money.
Yeah,
Time is money.
totally. And I expect by the end of next year that I will be known for freeing people out of the trap. And you follow this simple system that I've got in my head, and that you could actually, now you're not going to be a real estate guru, you're not going to be a millionaire. I mean, well, you could if you really worked
Right.
it.
Right.
But I just want to follow one simple strategy. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to teach them all the others, but what I want to do is I think I've confused my listeners.
Too much information.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think I've confused a lot of people around me by showing them the pro version.
Yeah.
And they're trying, it's too steep of a
It's
gradient.
like teaching algebra when really they
Right.
need to be teaching, just simple addition.
Yeah, addition, that's right.
Yeah.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to there's going to be some fortunate people because I'm going to teach them how they can get themselves out of the trap. So I want to talk about that. Like, what do I mean by getting out of the trap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So to me, it's not about money. I mean, money's always involved. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think money's very important and I
Sure.
pay attention to it a lot,
Sure.
but I believe it's more of a spiritual thing than a money thing.
Definitely.
I believe that if you can feed your mind with the right things that you can actually apply and get success for, get success with or get the right results. So in other
Yeah.
words, if I want to have 10 bottles of water by the end of the day, and I go through the day, and by 10 I have 2, and by noon I have 6, and by 3 I have 8. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm actually doing things to accumulate those bottles of water, I'm going to feel damn good, and that's going to spiritually make me feel happy.
Mm-hmm. And your hope is to make them feel happy also, no?
Yeah. Well,
Which it just feeds into each other.
Yeah, when you're happy. So let me just put it this way. It's kind of raw in my head this way, but I believe that you as a person control the environment.
That's true.
However, a lot of people, the environment controls them.
That's very
So
true.
I want to switch that. Like I have to go to work. It's 9:00 in the morning. I have to do what my boss says. I have to, and I want to make that so that if they don't like doing that,
right.
they don't have to.
They don't have to. So you're going to
Because-
give them an option from the modern day slave mentality, right?
Yeah. So when I say freeing somebody from the trap, that's what I'm talking about. So, I'm not saying that you're going to be, you could be,
Right.
Real estate's a funny thing. It depends
Yeah.
on your area, it depends on your education, it depends on a whole lot of things. But I am saying that there is no reason in the world why somebody can't do what we're going to talk about in a few minutes. How to buy a house with a $100 deposit.
Right.
With no credit, no risk. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You don't need a license. You don't need a lawyer. You don't need anything except a buyer and a seller.
Right.
And what I'm going to show you how to do.
Right. It's just that simple.
And I'm going to just kind of, and I don't mean dumb it down, because I don't mean that people watching are going to be dumb, but I'm going to make it so, and I'm going to experiment. If that was the reason why I took made this gift, is because I'm going to do it with this guy.
Right. Just people are just unfamiliar with it.
Yep.
And once they become familiar,
he seemed pretty new.
Yeah, he's very motivated.
He had no idea. When we sat down, I couldn't believe how green he was.
Oh boy.
And he's a realtor. He's a part-time
That's
realtor.
what I thought. He was yeah.
He has a full-time job. He's recently been divorced. Has a big house with a big mortgage. Made some mistakes, like I don't need that big house and that big mortgage anymore. So I need to hustle.
Are we going to help him with that?
I don't know. If he
I just.
Yeah, if he wants.
You got a one-track mind,
Amen.
I'm the deal maker.
There you go. I've passed the torch appropriately. Thus the pun on my name, $100 bill, because I'm going to be known as the guy that teaches you how to buy real estate for $100.
For 100, yeah.
And that's the plan. And it's going to be just that simple. Now, I don't know what that does to this podcast, because we're going to be talking about the same thing all the time. However, I expect this podcast to be the inspiration and the motivation,
right,
to get people going and keep them moving.
Because I think that motivation and inspiration is like a bath. You can't take one bath and it'll last you for the rest of your life.
Right.
You constantly need to refresh, even though it's so simple. Taking a bath is simple, right? Let's not get into visuals, but
I did. So you
Too late.
But you constantly need that, even though it's so simple that after probably one episode of watching this, people will get it and understand it and grasp it. But then time goes on; they need a refresher.
But here's the thing, and this is the reason why I'm doing it. Like last night, I spent 45 minutes or an hour with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I literally explained to him what we're talking about,
right?
Like 4 times, and he still didn't grasp it. And he's a realtor, and no disrespect to him. I think he's a pretty savvy guy. He owns other businesses.
Sure.
It's just, I think it's just so
simple. People overcomplicate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that I have one hell of a job in front of me, and I say I mean us.
Right.
Teaching people how to just do this one concept.
Right.
On how to use a $100 deposit. Which, by the way, Peter and I have had lengthy conversation on this $100 deposit thing I'm talking about. Works for every one of my 7 deals.
Yeah.
Works for every one of my 7 deals.
Yeah.
Because one thing that most people don't realize is if you want it, like the 7 deals, one of the 7 deals is owner financing.
Yeah.
Right? So, suppose you were to get a deal where it's owner financing and you don't want it. Well, then give them $100 deposit, sign an option agreement, and come sell it to a guy like me.
Yeah.
Somebody else will want to buy that deal. Right?
It's really powerful stuff when you think about it. It's just
One of the things I did last month, which made me, I think that was the jogger in my mind.
you have a jogger in there.
Yeah, I had like this,
Like a little man that-
Yeah, he like no. Like it jogged
Something
me.
that jogs.
Shocked
Bill's got
me.
this
Like-
little thing
like a
in here that
shocker.
goes like,
Yeah, exactly. I
little
see things
whack.
and all of a sudden it whacks me in the back of my forehead.
picture that. Like, there's a spot in the back of your head.
Yeah.
If you whack somebody upside the back of their head, it knocks sense into you. I don't know where that spot is, but I've heard a lot about it.
Here, come over here. I'll show you.
That's why there's a big table here. Bill has one built in the back.
Built in.
He knows where it is. He pushes the button and bang.
So, anyways, I was when we were doing an episode last month, that one of the deal structures that I had done, because we did, I think the whole month of November we did deal structures,
Yeah, we did.
right? So, one of the deal structures I did, I looked at it, and, during the show it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, oh my God, this is like so freaking powerful. I don't know that people are getting how powerful this is, and this
Right.
totally could be me,
Right.
because I wasn't getting how powerful it was.
Well, you
Right.
spotted how you could use an option on different deals?
I'm going to tell you in a minute. So what happened was, we were talking about somebody that was behind on their payments. I think the payments were $1,410, and they were 3 payments.
I remember
behind.
this. I
Yeah.
remember talking about this.
Right,
Yeah.
$3 grand behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I started asking you guys, and then I started asking on my coaching call, and I started asking at the meetups, and just different people. So if you had this deal, what would you do? Right, and I described the scenario like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go through that now, but like this is how much they owe. Like the balance is like, I forgot, it was like 130, and their payments are 1410, and they're 3 payments behind. How would you buy that deal?
Right. Because the first thing you think, well, it's $3,000 behind.
Right.
You have to get to square one, so I got to take care of the $3,000. Where am I going
Right.
to get $3,000? Who would I know? Who do I know that has $3,000? I don't have $3,000. I don't want to put $3,000. All that goes in your head.
And that's exactly happened 100% of the time. And that's when I realized I got to change this.
There's another way to go about it.
So let's just talk about that. So which is a perfect segue into how do you buy a house for $100? So if you completely understand what an option is,
Mm-hmm.
okay, which we probably should clear that up. Em, can you go get me the dictionary, please? Or Peter? Em, can you go get me the dictionary, the brown one? You know which one I'm talking about? On the left, right there. Yes. Yes, right there. Yeah.
The
So brown. No. Up on the shelf there with all the binders. Yeah. The one, the loose leaf. There you go. That's it.
The dictionary hunt.
Yeah, the real estate dictionary. Sorry. Oh, there you go. It's black, not brown. She
With yellow
she
lettering.
also told me my vest and my shirt didn't match this morning, and right away I was like, it doesn't?
So I was thinking that it matched.
You thinking it does?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, then she emphasized it with that she's not a fashion queen anyways, and I'm like, oh, good, I won't take advice from you.
Just dictionaries.
Anyway, so let's go back to the deal, and we'll clear up an option in a minute. So in this particular case, if you were to give this person $100 and write an option agreement, the one page agreement, and then went and found your buyer could pay the $3,000 in back payments, catch him up.
That's
and then,
right.
And then you can do a deal.
That's right.
Right.
And I think that our listeners need to know that it's that simple.
Right.
It's don't have to overcomplicate it.
So the problem is that our society doesn't talk about it much. This
Mhm.
option thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Peter.
Well, I've mentioned this before,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, for some reason you weren't catching what I was trying to say, Bill. But when you buy something, you usually think there's a buyer and a seller.
That's true.
As an investor, there's an investor, a buyer.
I don't get that. I know you keep saying
Well,
that, but I don't.
in
I don't
this
understand
deal,
your
okay,
point.
I'm explain it now. In this deal you're talking about, it's not solved between you and the seller. It's solved by having a third party the end buyer, the guy who comes along.
But
he brings the
real
money in.
estate's been that way for 100 years because you have a buying agent, a selling agent, and the buyer.
Right, but the realtor doesn't do anything besides put the two together.
Well, that's all we're doing here.
No, but we're actually funneling the money, and the realtor can't do that. The realtor wouldn't get somebody to put $3,000 on. You've got to go to the bank and get all the money.
We're
and pay it
passing
all off.
paperwork is what we're doing.
We're doing that, yeah, and we have the opportunity. I mean, if we just bought it directly from a person and then fixed it up and sold it down the road, but we have that third person in there to move things around. A realtor doesn't use it that way.
So I think to be more clear, because I still don't get your I understand it. I just
Well,
I
to
don't
me, it's like
I know you keep saying
well,
it. I just don't understand.
Here's the point: when people think of that deal, they think I can't buy it because it's just him and me. They forget that there's a person that's going to come up later that has a deposit. They don't think of that. That's why they're losing it. They don't think the other party is available with money. Just think, how can I buy it from that guy? I don't have the $3,000. He's thinking two people. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but no real estate transaction has two people.
Mm-hmm.
It always has three.
Well, what about a FSBO that finds a buyer?
Well, it's still three. You're still
How's
gonna
that?
you're still gonna have to have a closing agent or somebody to close it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that brings the investor and real estate agent into it's actually 4 people, if not more. Not
Well,
only the
yeah,
closing
after the fact.
agent, but
I'm just talking the front end just to get
So
the
I think-
thing.
I
all
think
the
the
different
table.
people
I think
involved.
there's a different way of saying what you're saying, though,
Mhm.
and I could be wrong. I mean, we
Well,
have
there's a solution there that people aren't thinking of. It's this other guy over here with money.
So what happens in a realtor situation is they don't have the power to control the deal. All they can do is give advice to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the power to control the deal. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What we do is by signing this option, it gives us the power to control the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So when a person goes to a realtor, they're expecting them to have the control and the power to run the deal.
Right.
And because of all the laws and the way realtors are run, with all their associations and legal fees and all that stuff, they can't. It's kind of like, I was at a meetup yesterday, right, or Wednesday. What day is it? Yeah, Wednesday yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of the guys who's a little passive aggressive, anyways, he reached out and he grabbed one. He was our banker person is a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And they're friends, and he reached out and grabbed her hand and went to kiss her hand. You know how they used to do like in royalty?
Yeah.
And instead he flipped it and kissed his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, okay. He says, well, I don't want to get stuck with sexual harassment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's so overboard with the sexual harassment now that I'm afraid to even look at a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Well, it's the same way with realtors. I mean, they have so many rules and so many laws that they're afraid to do things a lot of times because they'll get whacked. You understand?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with realtors except the only thing they can do is give you advice. Okay, so now let's just take a simple thing here. Now you guys are good because we spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
But even like the other day, I said to Naomi, I'm going to pick on you, okay? So we were talking about a deal structure, and in the car, we were talking about this this deal that you just did. I don't want to talk about the deal, but we have a deal that was a $400,000 deal, and I suggested to you that the way we make this deal is through the payments. So
yes,
like he wanted 435, we wanted to be below 400.
Right.
So I said to you, so negotiate using the payment. So tell him at 435,000. We need to give him a $2,000 a month payment. His mortgage was $2,600.
Right.
And if he lowers his price, we'll get him $2,600. And if he goes even lower than that, we'll get him $3,300.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you talked to him about that deal, you never did that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No. You made the deal. No disrespect.
Right.
But the point is that you work with me every day, and I told you how I would structure the deal.
Right.
And you went and did something anyways. Something
Right.
different. Okay. Now it worked, and that's totally cool, and it's not like there's no problem there. My
Right.
point is so if you and I work together and we're on the same page,
Right.
how does a realtor have a conversation like that with somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about,
Right.
and say you should do this and you should do that and you should do this, right?
Right.
And they don't understand. They don't actually duplicate it,
Right.
and then they're expected to go do it. So how's that relationship going to happen?
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
So the point is that if the realtor doesn't know what they're doing, right?
Right.
They're giving bad advice, which when I say most realtors don't know what they're doing, I mean that because they're not trained. They're not trained on sales. They're not trained on marketing.
That's true.
They're not trained on the they're trained on the purchase and sales document, but they're not trained on the rest of it.
Right.
They're trained to take a purchase and sales agreement. They're trained to take a listing, put it on the MLS,
Right.
hope somebody else will find it, right?
Right.
And then once they do find it, the good ones keep track of the activity in the house,
Right.
and the feedback and the lockbox and all that kind of stuff. And then they start doing, they're not trained on negotiating.
No.
So now they have to negotiate the deal. Like I'm doing it with one of my students right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's got a fairly green agent. Okay. And I think we picked up $8,000 or $9,000 just by slowing things down and negotiating. And it wasn't even negotiating; it was just conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It wasn't even hard negotiating. And what I said to her was, well, you picked up your closing cost
Right.
just by talking.
Right.
So I didn't get excited or anything like that. We just talked our way through it, and 24 hours later, we had I think $5,000 or $7,000 more money. Right? So that's all my point is. I'm way off the deep end on this, but we had the ability to now take the shoes of the seller when we sign an option agreement. So now we can talk to the buyer.
Right.
Now we can talk to the attorney.
Right.
And we could talk to, and we can handle it because we know how to do it. So when a person's hiring a realtor, that's what they're expecting the realtor to do, but that's not what the realtor's trained to do, and it's not what their job is. It's way above and beyond. Now, some realtors are, but not many of them.
Some of them are very good.
So I think what Peter's saying is that I don't think that it's so much that there's three people involved, which,
Right.
yes, I understand, but every transaction.
Maybe there's always three, but people forget to utilize the third one then.
And that's what my point is. By us stepping in, that's obviously what we do.
But
Right.
We include that. We make sure that we're thinking about how's this going to end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, quite frankly, it's just as simple as how am I going to get my check.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just got my eye on the mountain on that, and I've done it so many times, and I know that it's too easy not to get a check. You do something stupid, it's too easy to not get a check. You know what I mean? We've done it. Just go say one thing wrong in a house, and you don't get a check. You know what I mean? And it's just So here's what I realized. I realized that 50% or more of any deal structuring, of the 7 deals, 50% of any deal structuring is making the seller feel comfortable to let you do the deal. The other 50% is finding and pre-screening and finding those people. So when I realized that, I'm like, okay, so how do I do that for all 7 deals? Because every deal has its different language.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And Naomi works with me every week, every day, and I'm training her. So if it's taking me this long to train her, how am I going to train everybody else? And I can do it, but I think it just got too confusing. So we're just going to make it so that we just work on one deal. And as far as I'm concerned, that deal is just a sandwich lease option. And there's a couple different ways you can do it, and we're going to talk about all that stuff over the months. Mm-hmm. Right?
And it's a pretty powerful deal.
It's strong.
It's very strong.
We're doing them.
Yeah.
Right? So here we go. So the dictionary says option. So there's a few definitions here. So it's the right to buy a home for a pre-negotiated price for an agreed-upon term, which is length of time, usually given in exchange for a non-refundable option deposit. Okay? We
Got
good?
it.
Should we?
And just to let the listeners know, this is an investor's dictionary.
Yes.
Do not go and look at your dictionary at home.
This is an investor's dictionary.
This is going to be a different definition.
So also, the second definition is contract in which the investor gives the seller some consideration. $100 is preferred in the amount from the buying side for the right over a designated time period to mark and sell the equitable interest in that contract to a cash buyer. This is sometimes called a straight option and does not include rights of possession, which are included in the lease option.
Right.
Okay. So I don't know why, Peter. I don't know why, and maybe we'll send you out and do some research on this because this is something you would be good at. Something so obvious and so easy is so overlooked. It's almost like we have like this little, I have like this little blip in time. It's not just me, but it's like there's this blip in time, and it's like I'm looking at this thing, and it's like very obvious, and I'm like, how come nobody else sees it?
You know what it might also be? With the option agreement, in a sense, you're taking responsibility that I am going to bring that third person to the table, and this transaction is going to happen.
Right.
Whereas in the realtor scenario, the realtor, most realtors, not all of them, some of them are very, very good,
Right.
but a lot of them, their responsibility is shifted not from them, but to the MLS.
Right.
So they list it on the MLS, and they wait for the MLS to do the magic. Whereas in this scenario with the option, you're the one that's doing the magic.
Right.
You're the one, and some people might be scared of that.
Right.
It's very doable, but it's a different responsibility.
It's a valid point.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't see any of that. When you watch all the TV shows, it's all about not even finding the house, just renovating.
Just renovating. Yeah.
You know, and then the realtor sells it for you.
Right.
So it might be a realtor finds it, or somehow it magically appears. You renovate it, look at all the pretty things they did, and the realtor sold it. Your
Right.
job is done.
Right.
No one ever talks about, well, how would you sell it?
Right.
Put an ad on the paper, join one of those websites, and wait.
I was talking to an investor yesterday evening, and he said, you know, I've sold about 9 houses this past year. And he said the ones that I turned over to the realtor was just like the price got cut, things went odd. And he said the ones that I took under my own belt with my own initiative and just pounded the streets with it. So he took responsibility. He said, I did so much better.
Yeah.
And so we're doing that for people. We're taking that under our belts, taking our own initiative, pounding the streets. And it's something that not all realtors do. Or that even the sellers have confidence to do themselves, for themselves.
Right.
So
I got my toes on the edge of the profound cliff. So we're going to jump, okay?
let's go.
Because I really did. I've
Grab-
been really
Let me
thinking
make sure I have
about
my
this.
parachute.
Grab the back of his belt.
I really do believe. I mean, I've been thinking about this for a while because I've been watching and like got my third eye on me and like, you know, what am I doing wrong? Because I feel like there should be. I mean, I have great success.
Right.
We have students that are doing one. I mean, 85 or 90% of my coaching group is doing business.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have great success, but I think it can be more.
Better. Yeah. I think so too.
So I keep looking at it.
Refining.
And here's what I came up with.
Okay.
So you guys tell me. This is just my. This is the first time it's ever come out of my head. Okay. So we all know that the media is trying to control the world. No. Somebody who's trying to control the world, kind of like, you know, Batman and Robin, and you got the Joker that's trying to like control the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, I mean, it's just kind of weird, but I do believe that there are people like that think they control the world, and they use the media to do it. Right? Does that make sense? So so they're making something look like something that's not.
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So think of this.
Right.
If you're the seller, Naomi, and Pete, you're the buyer, and we sit at this table and we do a transaction, and Naomi, you get your house sold, and Pete, you get a house bought, and we didn't use a realtor, and we didn't use a banker, and we didn't use a lawyer or a closing agent,
Sounds really simple.
how much money did we just take away from the industry?
I think you hit the jugular.
So are these people that make a living doing this going to promote it? Because once
Why?
they do one
Why?
deal, once the attorney does one deal, once the realtor does one deal, and once the banker does one deal,
Right.
people are going to see how easy it is, and they're like, "Huh, maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I don't need them."
Yeah. I got a whole rant going in my head. I won't diverge, but third parties getting in the middle making money.
Right.
I used to answer the phone. Hi, can I have a music lesson? Mm-hmm. Now I got third party websites sending people to me. I got to give them a cut. Did I really need that? What service are they providing? You can call me and I'll talk to you. No, I have to have a third party in the middle of that. So people making money off of somebody else. Go get your own job, I think.
Right.
So I don't mind if somebody gets people together when it's needed. You know, you need somebody to have a trucking company get the food from here to there.
Right.
I'm not going to drag it to Idaho myself.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of that you just don't need a third party making money in the middle just because he doesn't want to work, period.
Right. But if that third party is actually effective,
Yeah, like
then
in your
they should get their
particular-
cut.
In your particular case, if they're able to send you a lead and you pay them a commission for doing that, then that's fine.
Right. I had more students without them.
Okay.
I did, because there was only me, that guy, that store, and that place. The students went to one of them, and we divvied it up. They would call. You look on the internet now, and there's just like we buy houses. How many of those are there around?
Right.
Everybody sees those shows, and everybody wants to be. I do real estate. I flip houses. You know, so it's just, if you do it, that's fine.
Right.
But if you provide a good service, absolutely. But if you're getting in the middle and you're not needed, just get a job.
Mm-hmm.
So the third person in the middle, the bad
Right.
way.
Right.
That's what you're saying, you know. But and they provide services like.
Well, they make a
I've
living
talked to-
off of doing this.
I've seen realtors write. You know, I can't help everybody sell their house. It works for some people, other people can't. That's what realtors
Right.
say. I've seen
Right.
the post. You know, it doesn't work in certain situations, so people like us are needed.
This
Right.
guy that I gave the Christmas gift to told me that last night. He's like, I can't believe. He's like, he sat in front of me. He said 3 times, it's almost like I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. He's like, there's something. I'm waiting for, like, what's the catch? And I said to him point blank, the catch is that I'm probably going to put you in my marketing, and now whether you don't want me to or not is another story. But I'm going to brag about how I took you from, like, not knowing. He doesn't even know what an option is. He had no idea. It was his first meeting with me.
Mm-hmm.
He's not watched anything online. He was just introduced to me that night.
Wow.
meetup.
How
It's
did
first-
how did he get there?
He went on Meetup.com, which is what most people do, and he saw the meeting, and he was like, I
Wow.
wasn't going to come. He had gotten divorced on the 6th, and this was the 11th. It was 5 days
Wow.
later.
That's right.
And he's like,
I just got divorced, blah blah blah, and here I am.
and he's like, I want to change my life. I need to take care of my kids. I need to do this. I need to do that. So I'm like, I got a good job. I got another business. I do realtor. I do my 8 or 10 deals a year.
Good for him.
But he's like, there was something about you that I just knew it was different.
Yeah.
And this is what's different. What I'm
Yeah.
talking about right now is what's different.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just go back on this for a second. And for anybody that doesn't think that we're talking about the title, which is, do you actually believe you can flip a house?
Mm-hmm.
You need to understand this philosophy, which is why it's taken us 40 minutes to get to it. Okay? Because this is how you do it. When we do an option agreement,
Mm-hmm.
and Naomi has a house for sale, and I say, I'll go find you a buyer, so
Right.
let's sign this agreement, and I'll give you $100 to consummate the deal. In other words, to make it legal.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And I say, I'll give you $90,000, and I'll find the buyer within 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're over leveraged, and I say, okay, well, I could do a delayed cash out. The way it works is I'm going to go find a buyer that will need 2 years to get a mortgage, and he'll rent from you in that meantime.
Yeah.
And you agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
I go find Pete, who's willing to rent for 2 years and pay $100,000,
Right.
right? And then rents from you until he gets qualified for a mortgage, and then he gets the mortgage and pays you off, and everybody's happy,
Right.
right? I don't need a license to do that. I don't need a lawyer to do that. Once you have the paperwork, which my new course is, but this is the first time I've ever done this, this new course is going to actually have the paperwork in it.
Great.
I'm going to not only show you how to buy the house, I'm not only going to show you how to find the lead, I'm going to show you how to buy the house. I'm going to give you scripts
Mm-hmm.
on how to talk on the phone, how to talk in the house. I'm going to show you how to sell the house, and I'm going to give you all the paperwork. And
Right.
it's going to be $300.
It's very powerful.
I think so. I got to build it. Poor Emma. When I say I, let's just get it straight.
Emma.
I has a definition of Emma here.
Right.
I spell I.
Just like when you say I.
E-M-M-A. I.
Right.
So anyways.
You know,
so,
Emma spells Emma?
Emma spells I.
I.
Yeah. So
Emma's finding out all kinds of things about herself.
yeah, exactly. So, but you have to get this. This is why I believe you can do it, because if you just understand what we're talking about, if you just understand, and I understand that it's a mystery sandwich right now, but if you just get that it could be that simple. All
Yeah.
you need, I mean, you could find these leads like in many places.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, will you get on the phone and do the script? Right? And that's what I said to this guy. Will you get on the phone and do the script? He's like, that's all I got to do? I'm like, yeah. For him, because he's going to be our opening caller, and then he's going to give me the lead, and him and I are going to go out and do the deal.
Do the deal. Yeah.
I'm going to make the offer. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do all the paperwork. And when we get all done, he's going to get
He's
the
going
check.
to see, wow,
He's going to get the check.
it actually does work.
If we do a $10,000 deal or a $20,000
Yeah.
deal, he's going to get the check. I'm not taking a penny.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm
That
not
is
taking-
quite a gift you're giving him.
I believe so.
And I believe he's going to do a deal. I
After
truly
last
do.
night, he will.
Yeah. I truly do.
Because I want to show others that it's not just me,
Yeah.
and that it's really simple. And I'm gonna walk through it. We're gonna document stuff. I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, except I know that I want to help someone,
Yeah.
and the way I want to help him is the way I want to help everybody else. So the only way I know how to do it is to do it with him, and then document it and show it to everybody else. Because if he can do it, then you can do it.
Right. Him not even knowing what an option is or anything.
Right.
Wow.
You can do it. But
You
you
can
have
do
to understand this concept, right? That, there's another definition here. It's called an option seller, which I haven't read yet, so let's read it, okay? So an option seller is a homeowner who will agree to terms, okay, requiring a full cash out of the property in the relatively near future. The smart investor seeks a straight option agreement for 60 to 180 days. The most the seller will allow. An agreement for 90 days is usually sufficient to know whether you can sell the home or not. But sometimes with a luxury or unusual property, it can help to get longer. A straight option does not include rights of possession, but does include the right to exclusively market the property. If the seller finds their own buyer, they owe you nothing. So they can walk away.
That's risky.
Yeah. For who?
For if they're marketing and you're marketing, couldn't the lines become crossed?
Yes. Except I'm arrogant, remember?
I remember.
Yeah. And I'm cocky about it because we've done it so many times that I believe that my marketing will blow them away and we will find a buyer before they will.
I think
And
so.
if they do find a buyer, we have enough deals that it doesn't matter. The only thing we have involved is $100. And the marketing we've been doing lately, I mean, the house that we're marketing right now, I think I spent $50 on Facebook. Everything's been online.
Right. Right.
You know, where I used to have to spend $1,000, $1,500 for newspaper ads, all that's gone.
That's the beauty of technology.
Right.
Thank God for
All that's gone. So you
Facebook
don't even
and-
need money for that stuff.
Yeah.
You just got to know how to do it.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm bragging right now, but we were on the coaching call the other night, right? Mm-hmm. And one of my students, the 20-year-old college kid,
I know. He's great.
right? He says he's been trying to sell this house. He's been trying to sell it. He's only got 30 days left on an option. Now, he had a 90-day option. So he's been doing it on his own for 60 days. And we've been talking about it, and he's been kind of doing whatever, right? Which is cool.
Yeah.
And on the phone, I wrote the ad.
Yeah.
When I was on call. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
So say this. Put this in your ad. Da, 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 right?
And he did, I believe. I sent you the snapshot. Did you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
He called me. That was on Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
He called me on my birthday, which was Tuesday, and said he had a contract. He put the ad out. He had like 100 and something people go to the ad because it was on. We put the ad on Facebook. 100 something people went on there, and somebody called him up. Some guy says that my daughter is going to college in that area, and I need to either pay rent or buy her. He went and looked at it. He says, I'll take it. Gave him $1,000 deposit. They wrote a contract, and we're going to closing.
Beautiful.
Next week.
Right.
Okay? He bought this for $100, and it's option agreement
Yep.
for $100, and he's going to make $3,000. Is that a lot of money? Will you become a millionaire doing that? He's a 20-year-old college kid. He's in college.
Yeah.
He's not selling pizzas, delivering.
Exactly. There's a big difference. Or washing
You see what I'm
dishes.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He made.
But-
Yeah.
Bill, you have a definition of wealth. I'd like you to throw that in right now, if you don't mind,
Sure.
or when you finish that, because
It's a great definition.
it's a great definition. People, talk about, oh, you can make millions and all that. And,
It's not my definition. It's Kiyosaki's.
yeah, but that's the one you use.
It's
And
Robert Kiyosaki, right?
Bingo.
Damn. I
Got
only
it.
know that because 2 days ago I talked to somebody else and I said Richard, and they corrected me. It's no Robert. That's the only reason why.
Oh, so you listen to somebody else?
Evidently.
Robert Kiyosaki.
But it's a great definition. So people look, well, what do I need to do? How many millions? People think about how much do I have to save up
Right.
to use like
It's
a
not
nest
about
egg.
saving. It's about creating.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
That's
it's stockpiling away for some
Yeah.
day. So give it to us. The great definition of wealth by Richard Kiyosaki.
Yeah. Richard Kiyosaki. Robert, Peter. Robert.
Oh, Robert.
He's
Some-
reversing the flow on
Sometimes teaching is helpful.
me. Yeah. So he says all you need to do is if you need, like, suppose you need $4,000 a month to live, which is kind of common. Right, then you need to make $5,000. So I put this part in. He didn't say this, but try to make about 20% more than what you earn, what you need.
Yeah.
Right, and the purpose of it is that the 4,000, which goes back to what I consider being free, a spiritually free, and I don't mean spiritually like religious type thing. I just mean that you have your mind is free and you have the ability to think. And my analogy is that your whole life you've been on an airplane, and the airplane's been driving around on the runway. What I'm talking about is getting you off the runway and up at a 30,000 foot view. So now you can see everything, and you make different decisions, and you're much freer
Yeah.
because you're not restricted.
You're not in the wheel anymore. You're on top of the cage.
Right, exactly.
See that? It's a wheel.
So it's opening up
Yeah.
people's minds so they can see, like, this 20-year-old college kid. Give him a few years. I mean, he's going to be.
Oh yeah.
I mean, already he's on fire.
Months. Yeah.
I mean, just.
Wait, hang on a second. What's
He-
he
he-
going to college for?
That's what I was wondering
Oh.
too. I mean, and he
Find out
just
what's he going to college for. And if
Oh,
it's,
but this
if it's
last
business,
week-
tell him he's in business.
Last week he closed a deal for $9,000
Yeah, right,
and paid
to
his
pay for
college tuition.
tuition.
And he tells me today that he got thrown out of his house because he didn't have money. And he kept listening to me and I didn't know this till after it was done.
He got thrown out of his house.
He wherever he was living, his girlfriend's house or wherever he was living, he didn't have money. And he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and he did his
And he
deal, and he
broke
got
through.
$9,000, and now he's got another one for $3,000. He's like, he drank the Kool-Aid. Anyways, so if you, and I only talk about him. I mean, we have other clients doing this. I don't talk about what's unique about him is he's in college.
and he's 20.
And he's 20 years old. That's why I talk about him. I mean, I have other people that do this. I just don't talk about him because, I don't know. They're not 20 years old.
If you got somebody who's 40, who's been a realtor for a few years, or had some businesses and been doing this and been doing that, was a salesman, you're not too surprised if they can pull it together.
Right.
But somebody who's 20 doesn't have much experience.
Right.
What,
Yeah.
hamburgers?
Yeah,
Seriously, what's he going to
Right.
have for experience?
Right.
He's got nothing to fall back on, only what you're giving him, what he's
Yeah.
getting
Right.
from the information.
Right.
There's nothing backing that up. You came to us with a bunch of experience. You did.
Yeah.
You had something. It's like, oh, Naomi did it. Well, duh, I hope so.
Right.
It's not shocking. But
Right.
if you were like, hi, I'm 19. My name is Naomi. Just graduated high school. I mean, it'd be a whole
different story. And that's what this guy is.
And he's that different
Yeah,
story.
he's that
Like,
different story.
All right, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Right. So Kiyosaki says if you need $4,000 a month, okay, the trick is to make $5,000, which is 20% more, because you're always going to need to create the future. Okay.
Well, no one ever plans on those things that
Right.
happen. No one puts in their budget. This screws up. The car breaks.
Right.
But it happens. You don't plan on it, but life
Yeah.
does that.
So that way
put-
you're prepared.
Yeah.
And that way, if it doesn't happen, if your car keeps running, if the thing doesn't happen, you start building that
Your
cash
car
flow.
will not keep running.
Well, I call
I
it
could argue with that, but anyhow.
I call it expansion. So you want to save it for expansion.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
but here's the point: is the way you make the $4,000.
Is actually, do you go washing dishes
Right.
or do you open up your mind to something better?
Or even better, what I'm saying is you do what you love. You do
Oh, yeah.
something that you enjoy, so it doesn't feel like work, and it doesn't take 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week to do it, and it's flexible enough. Now,
Yeah.
a lot of guys like the 4-hour work week, Tim Ferriss, and all those guys, they teach that you don't have to work. I personally think that's destructive to a human being because working is good.
Did you say 4 hours?
4-hour, the
4-hour
4-hour work week.
week.
That's Tim Ferriss. He's
Right.
got a great book
Okay.
on that. It's a phenomenal book. You
Yeah.
should read it. But the point is that I think that production is the basis of morale. So if you don't have a game to play, then life will eat you. If you're not telling life how I want to live, then life will tell you how to live.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I think working is good, but I don't think it should be a dictatorship.
Right.
Most people don't like work. It's not what they want to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they think, gee, I wish I didn't have to work and just sit around. Sitting around stinks.
Right.
Right.
You can't do that. You have to find something you actually enjoy
And there
doing.
are some people that do that. They just want to sit around. They're just lazy, but that's another story.
They don't live very long.
And those people
Doesn't
are
work out.
usually ill and they have problems and they have a lot of drama in their life and whatever.
Right.
My point is that for somebody that wants to do something that they enjoy doing, and they don't need to do it 100 hours a month. They can do it 10 hours a week or 5 hours a week or 10, 12 on their own schedule.
Yeah.
Pretty much. This does that.
Yeah.
This does all that fits that need. So now the person is not under stress.
Mm-hmm.
They're relaxed and they will be creative. And oh yeah, by the way, it'll allow them to do those things, those charity things that they want to do, and to help those other organizations that they want to help. Or whatever it may be, help that kid that needs a babysitter, and you know what I mean? Or I don't know what it is. Go be more part of your church. Whatever it is. But
Right.
the point is that when you are doing that, you're happy, right? So what Kiyosaki's saying is that you should have that $4,000 as passive. So in other words, you buy a piece of real estate and the checks just come in the mail.
Right.
I personally do not believe that there's not anything you could put on automaticity that will last that long without any attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where the 4 hours comes in.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
you have to have something to do. Like you have to manage whatever that thing is,
Exactly.
take care of it.
So
you built a machine of some kind.
Right. So I'm not going to profess that you don't have to do anything. I mean, some of these guys do. I don't believe that. I believe that, like I said, production's the basis of morale, right? And that you should feel good about yourself.
Right.
But at the same time, you should be in control of your environment. Your environment shouldn't be in control of you.
Right.
So all I want to do is put you in control of your environment and take you out of the rat race. The rat race is the environment is controlling you, and you have no say over it. You're completely the effect of it, and you have to go to work. You have to do this because you need these results.
Right.
And you don't have the power of choice. In other words, your self-determinism is completely taken away.
But you do have the power of choice,
You do have the power of choice.
and we're here to show you.
Right.
This
So-
is an avenue.
So what I'm saying is that the option, the option agreement is what you need to learn.
Yeah.
Because if you learn that, and I'm gonna and I'll show it to you. I mean, we're gonna keep
Right.
talking about it. But if you understand how powerful that is, and how you don't have to do a deal, and have and this is kind of the punchline. Although we're not quite ready to finish yet, but this is the punchline. My punchline is to mind your own business.
Mm-hmm.
It's a play on words. So mind your own business. In other words, think about what you need to be doing
Right.
and get rid of all the other influences.
Right.
The lawyer that tells you need the lawyer to close, and the realtor that tells you need to have a realtor to close, and the banker that says you need to have the money.
Mm-hmm.
That's all noise.
Or even people not even necessarily professionals. But I have a theory: when you're doing new change and there's people around you that may be skeptical, it's maybe not the best idea to share that with
Right.
the individual. You two, bounce back on that, but I could be wrong, but I think you just have to go do it,
Right.
get it done.
Well, you don't need people's permission to do it. You don't have to say,
Right, you
"I'm
don't-
going to do this," and all people say, "Yeah, go ahead, do that." Like, okay, I will now that you agree with me.
Right.
You can tell somebody I do it, and just because you tell them. But
You don't need their permission to break free.
No. And the proof is in the pudding. Just go do it.
Mhm.
So if you want to make $1 million, who do you talk to?
A millionaire,
I talked to a billionaire.
Okay.
even better.
The point is that if you're taking from advice from someone that doesn't do what we're talking about, that might be the wrong person to take advice from.
Mm-hmm.
And there lies why you don't believe. See, you believe, but those people don't believe, and they're influencing you
Yeah.
in a wrong way.
So you have to be very careful about who is around you.
Well, it's a matter of integrity too. You have to keep be your own advisor. You have to just know what you want to do
That's
and
what I
not
mean
not.
by mind your own business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's your business, so you
Mhm.
don't need to have people approve of what you do.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that,
Well, you do. You need two people to approve of what you're doing.
yeah.
Yeah, the buyer and the seller.
What about the wife?
Nope.
Okay.
You don't have to have
Yeah.
approval from your kids.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. You know what? I'm going to give you an exact scenario of why this is true.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last time you went to the bank?
A few days ago.
Okay. When was the last time you went to the bank?
A few days ago.
Did you make a deposit?
I did.
Did you make a deposit?
Mm-hmm.
Did the teller ask you where the money came from?
I didn't use a teller.
I think she's completely like a city slicker.
I didn't use the teller either, Bill. We just go to the audit.
Did the bank send you a letter and say, where did this money come from?
I haven't seen that one yet. No.
No.
Did anybody care where that money came from?
No.
Could you have physically robbed the convenience store down the street and came and deposited the money in the bank and they would take it?
I suppose.
Yeah, money. It's ours now. We
But
don't,
don't
care where
give
it
him
comes
any
from.
ideas. Wrong idea of freedom. This is not freedom. This is
Okay, wait a minute.
yeah. Rewipe.
So when you deposited that money, what did you do with it?
It's still there.
Good girl. So you're going to pay bills, right?
Yes.
When you pay the bills, does the electric company say, where did you get this money from?
No. I think I
When
know
you-
where this is going, but
when,
yeah.
when you write checks, do they say, where do you get this money from?
No.
Okay, so why?
You don't.
Those are the ones that count.
Yeah. The proof is in the pudding, like
Right.
Pete said.
So why does it matter if your mother says this doesn't work?
Right.
She's not writing you the check. She's not the one sending the money to the electric company.
But Bill, isn't the beginning source that you used from the robbing a bank
No, the convenience
or the
store.
convenience
Yeah.
store? Should we use a different example?
No, I wanted to be very rash about it, so
Right.
you could see how stupid this idea
Right.
is. That you have in
I
your
see what
head.
you're using an extreme to
Extreme,
show, even
exactly.
in this horrible situation
Right.
that we would never condone.
So Peter, that's what we got to do. April's coming, right? April Fool. We're gonna have to take Naomi out in the car, and you and I are gonna have to go into a convenience store and mock roll robbing the convenience store because she's got a real button on this. And we have to go in with our put our hoods on with little and work it out with the convenience store people.
And the
You know,
cops.
Yeah, and the
Everybody.
cops, and just like
All
total-
the cops.
She'll be like,
Don't forget one cop because he all got
holy-
guns.
and we'll get in the car and we'll say, okay, Naomi, we're going to the bank to deposit the money. Remember the podcast? She's turning red.
Emma will have to be there to record this. This is going down in history. This is
Yeah, when the other cop who wasn't in on it shoots both of us, and you become the only deal maker, the rookie, and
this is going to be a
$100 Naomi.
This is going to be a lonely podcast.
I'm just hoping we forget about it by then.
Pete's doing the
Watching
what
too many
is it?
videos.
His grandson will be born by then.
oh yeah, we're
He's not
doing
gonna
that.
remember
Yeah,
none of
that's
this.
right, yeah.
Max, right?
Max.
Exactly.
Max is coming out.
Well,
but-
I don't know. They say his name is Max. We haven't. She's decided, but I still have some time to talk to her. Her husband thinks he's decided too, but
Where'd it come from?
the word Max.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Is it Max short for
I'm
Maximilian?
gonna find out. Emma will tell you.
Maxwell.
Like coffee?
Actually, that's not a bad name
Maxwell.
because Get Smart was what was his name? Maxwell,
Maxwell
Smart,
Smart.
right? There you go. I liked him. That was a good show.
And there's a Beatles song. It's got a whole Beatles song, Maxwell.
Does it?
Right,
Silver Hammer.
right.
Also, coffee called Maxwell.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I said that a
Actually-
moment ago.
She's on a 10-second delay.
Oh, right.
Actually, it doesn't bother me at all. Obviously, it doesn't make a difference.
Right.
As long as we have a baby, healthy, not healthy, whatever, we're going to take care of it.
So
well,
be
you
it.
want the max for your grandson, don't you?
Oh, that was just witty.
Oh,
I'm
I
impressed.
wasn't kidding. I was being. Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So to bring it full circle,
Please.
Please wrap the show up.
please, we're begging you. To bring it full circle, something as extreme as getting money illegally. If you go to pay bills, they're not asking questions. So when you're getting your money completely ethically, you're helping people, you're helping yourself, you're helping your lifestyle, you're helping your husband or your wife or your children. You have no obligation to answer to them and to be giving them, excuses or why I'm doing this. Just succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Just succeed.
So
And
I
show
wanna
them
change
the-
that.
show
No,
them the
no,
check.
I disagree with that last part. So not that I disagree with it. I want to change
no,
it. I wanna
no
alter it.
disagreements.
Yeah. so when
Refine.
you say be successful, no, what I'm
Yes.
saying is feel good about what you're doing.
Yes,
It's not because if you
You're
feel
right.
good, that's your definition of successful.
you're right.
So if you could make money, do all the
Yeah.
things you were talking about, and doing and feeling good about it,
You're right.
and having confidence, you will believe in what you're doing, and nobody can shake you off of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
In
that's
fact,
what I
that
wanna
comes
build.
that comes before the success. That is the ingredient.
Right.
Yeah.
So
you're
what I want to
absolutely
do
right. Mm-hmm.
is I want to help people with this concept. We're talking this one concept and
Yeah.
get rid of all the other stuff. Now, if you want to learn that stuff, I'll still teach it, but you have
Mm-hmm.
to kind of, I don't know what.
We got to work up to it.
Yeah, you
Still
got to
gotta
work. There you
up
go.
to
Work
it.
up to it.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
know,
way to put it.
I've been listening to people, even on your coaching students, on the calls, and each of the 7 type of deals that we're going to take it easy on have different aspects, and this works here and that doesn't work there, and it's kind of, you have to understand why. You can't memorize that, and it takes a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear them, you can't do that for this. You should do that. They just a little different enough that you have to understand them differently.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I understand why people get confused. It took me a while. So
Sure.
you have to do this.
Sure.
So in
and-
other words, you're smarter than all the rest of us, and if it took you a while, then it'll take us longer.
Did it come out like that? Well, no,
You're right.
I mean, the bottom
No,
line
I-
is people have years and years of mental programming that money comes by. It's difficult. You have
Effort.
to work really hard for your money. And so this idea, it takes a while and sometimes years for it to sink in that, no, you
so
just
let's
change
take, let's take that cliche: work smarter, not harder.
Right.
So what I'm
Right.
telling you right now is we're going to teach you how to work smarter. We're going to show you how to buy a house, or we're not going to do it on the radio. We're going to talk about it on the radio, but if
Yeah.
you want to figure it out. I mean, really, when we get done, I think the course is going to be $300.
Yeah.
I mean, quite frankly, if you don't have $300 to learn what we're talking about, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Call me up or write me a letter because I'm very
Philanthropic.
philanthropic.
yeah, there you go.
Where is it in the investor
Phil-
dictionary?
There's 2 people, philanthropic. So there's
Philanthropic.
philanthropic.
Oh,
Phil
look, it's
Anthropic.
not there.
Wow. I
So-
almost think it would be, huh?
So if you really have a good story, then maybe we'll work on it. But really, that's what I plan on doing. How could we not change the world a little
Yeah.
bit?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at in my life.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll go through my story, why I'm doing this some other time, some other show.
Yeah.
But having been at the top and having been at the bottom and having been at the top and having, it was meaningless at the top with just money.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can ever explain that to some people because some people will just not get it.
I've heard that. I've heard Jim Carrey said, I wish everybody had the experience of being able to buy anything you could, because then you would know that's actually not the answer to life.
Right.
It goes deeper.
Well, look at a lot of the
That's
celebrities.
great. I never heard that.
Look
Yeah.
at the celebrities or football players or entertainers or athletes who make gazillions of dollars.
Yeah.
And just look at their lives. How
Right.
are they doing?
Right.
All the problems are solved and they're just completely happy all the time. No, on the front page of the
It's
magazines.
probably been extrapolated.
No,
Or-
they're not doing well, a lot of
Yeah.
them. There's always somebody on the cover like, look what
Right.
happened to this guy.
Right.
I like money too, but the money is for a reason, not for
Right.
itself.
Exactly. Money is a tool. You don't live for money. It's a tool to live.
It's energy.
Good. So I think that we've made the point. We the last show, which was episode number 76, was very dramatic, But I wanted it to be that way because I wanted people to know that we are changing, we're shifting gears.
Mhm.
So technically, I should change the name of the podcast from Flipping Houses for Rookies
Right.
to The Great American Heist. But we're not going to do that. We clearly, I have clearly, and we on this show and last show have clearly made it known where our intentions are. So if you're a regular listener and you don't want to hear that, then I'm sorry to lose you. But if you are,
We want it
ready-
for you.
yeah, we want to. If you are ready to take your life over, get out of the rat race, and actually start living more and more the way you want to live,
Yeah.
then we are going to help you. And I'm going to make it real easy. Now, once you start doing deals and you start making $3,000 or $5,000, then you can start doing, learning the other stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll spend a little more money with me or with whoever, but you'll be on the road.
Yeah.
Now I'm not telling you I'm going to make you a millionaire. I could do that too, but I'm not telling you that I can make you a millionaire. I'm just telling you that I'm going to show you a way that you can get out of the rat race.
Yeah, I mean, the simplest target, just to be real, is I need targets in life. You can't be making $1 million. Just the simplest target is to get to that point where you're covering your own bills.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, cover 1 week's worth of bills.
Right.
I'm up to like half a week's of bills just because I do various things, but just on this, half a week. Okay, another half week, then a week, and then you're there.
Yeah.
Just a week, a half a week. Just keep building that until you got a whole month. And
Make
then you're
it
done.
something you can mentally comprehend,
Yeah.
and then grow from there.
Yeah.
Don't go from this and then jump to I'm going to be a billionaire. Mentally comprehend it, and you'll grow.
Good.
So.
All right, guys. So we're over and out. So
Over and out.
next week,
Next week.
it's just you and I.
Oh, Pete,
Pete's off doing
we'll be missing you.
personal enhancement. He's on. He's going to take a mental vacation, not physical. He did the Bahamas, and he's going to practice
Nice.
what we preach. He's going to take some time off to do some personal stuff. So
Good for you.
there you go. So next week we will be just two of us.
Okay,
So we could get into some profound stuff next week.
I believe so.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely talk to our listeners about how they could do this. It is real.
So
It
real.
is possible.
So real.
All right, so I think we're done. We'll just end the show. I'm not even going to give you links to go anywhere. Oh, the only thing I do wish that you would do is if you enjoy our show, go to flippinghouses.club/podcast. And on the right side, it says iTunes. Go give us a review. 'Cause
Reviews are good.
I think I was in there yesterday. I think we were number 4 yesterday in education. So if you go to iTunes, under education, we're rated number 4 in the world.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
That's extremely cool.
Pretty cool. So just go give us a review. What is that? Oh. So go to flippinghouses.club/podcast. And on the right side, there's a link that says iTunes or wherever. If you're on Stitcher or Google
Yes.
Play or wherever, just give us a review.
Yes. Thank you, listeners.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for a wonderful year because it's the end of the year. We really, I mean, we've had some ups and downs but I've personally learned a lot. So
A lot of changes this year.
A lot of changes. Yeah.
Several road trips.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we've done quite a bit this year. And I thank all my listeners. I thank you guys, my podcast people, meetup people, coaching clients, all of it. It's been an awesome year. So, all right, we're over and out. Talk to you next
Over
week.
and out.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.